Trump's relationship with America's largest gun rights group has not always been amicable.
On your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end.
I don't want him to back down. I want him to be consistent and keep, saying what he's been saying.
Not going to take your guns away, folks. They're not going to take your guns away. Not going to do it. I will never, ever infringe on the right of the people to keep and bear arms.
Mobilization drives in 2024 elections. As the 2024 elections approach, the landscape is marked by intense voter mobilization efforts from both anti-arm control groups and armed safety advocates, highlighting the significant divide in armed violence policy between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. The contrasting positions of these candidates have energized both sides, leading to substantial campaigns aimed at influencing voter turnout in key battleground states. Traditionally, the National Rifle Association has been a formidable force in U.S. elections, especially noted for its substantial support of Trump's 2016 campaign, where it spent over $31 million. However, the NRA has been significantly weakened by ongoing financial and legal troubles, resulting in a reduction of its political clout and activity. Despite its historical influence, experts and former NRA insiders do not expect the organization to play as active a role in the 2024 elections as it did in the past. In the NRA's stead, other anti-arm control organizations are stepping up their efforts. The National Shooting Sports Foundation, a prominent arms industry lobbying group, is launching a substantial voter mobilization initiative. The NSSF's Arm Vote campaign is an ambitious effort, focusing on 7 to 9 battleground states with the goal of registering voters, educating them, and ensuring high voter turnout to support pro-arm candidates and ultimately help Trump regain the presidency. Larry Keane, the NSSF's general counsel, underscores the importance of this campaign in countering Biden's arm control agenda. On the opposite side of the arm control debate, Everytown for Armed Safety is orchestrating a robust mobilization campaign to support Biden and oppose Trump. Everytown, claiming nearly 10 million supporters, including a diverse coalition of mayors, students, arm owners, and teachers, is committed to grassroots efforts such as door-to-door canvassing, phone banking, and rallying. Nick Suplina, Senior Vice President for Law and Policy at Everytown, emphasizes the organization's dedication to re-electing Biden, driven by his administration's success in passing significant armed safety measures and his continued advocacy for more stringent arm control, including a potential attack weapons ban. The stakes in the 2024 elections are notably high, reflecting the sharp policy contrasts between Biden and Trump. Biden's presidency has been marked by the enactment of the first new armed safety law in 3 decades, and his campaign includes further proposals for comprehensive arm control, contingent on Democratic control of Congress. Conversely, Trump's presidency was characterized by steadfast support for the pro-arm lobby, a stance he continues to affirm. At the NRA's recent annual meeting, Trump received a strong endorsement and reiterated his commitment to protecting arm ownership rights. The NRA's diminished role in the upcoming elections can be attributed to its internal and financial challenges. The organization's revenue has been declining, and it faces increasing legal expenses, weakening its ability to exert the same level of influence it once had. This shift opens the field for other anti-arm control entities, like the NSSF, to fill the void and mobilize pro-arm voters. NRA's troubles and its impact. The National Rifle Association, once a formidable force in American politics, especially concerning arm rights advocacy, is facing severe challenges that have significantly weakened its influence. These troubles came to a head when Wayne LaPierre, the NRA's longtime executive, resigned in January amidst legal issues. LaPierre was about to stand trial in New York for embezzling funds from the organization for personal luxuries, including extravagant vacations and high-end clothing. His conviction highlighted the severe internal issues plaguing the NRA. A former NRA board member noted that the organization's current financial distress would limit its role in the 2024 election cycle. This reduction in influence could adversely affect Donald Trump's chances in crucial battleground states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Minnesota. The same source emphasized that compared to 2016, when the NRA was highly active and spent over $31 million supporting Trump's campaign, the current situation represents a significant decline in the NRA's political engagement. Robert Spitzer, an emeritus political science professor at SUNY Cortland and author of several books on arm issues, remarked that although the NRA remains supportive of Trump, it no longer has the resources or personnel to match its previous levels of influence. In 2016, the NRA spent over $70 million on Republican efforts nationwide. Despite the organization's current constraints, Spitzer acknowledges that the arm issue remains critical to a significant portion of Trump's base. In the absence of a robust NRA, other arm rights organizations are stepping in to fill the void. The National Shooting Sports Foundation is leading the charge. The NSSF, whose members include major arm manufacturers like Sturm, Ruger & Company, and Smith & Wesson, has launched an aggressive voter mobilization campaign. Larry Keane, the NSSF's general counsel, emphasized the stark contrast between Trump and Biden on arm issues, explaining the NSSF's significant efforts to support pro-arm candidates in the upcoming election. Jim Baker, the NRA's former top lobbyist, praised the NSSF's efforts to compensate for the NRA's weakened state, highlighting its attempts to fill the gap left by the NRA's diminished capacity. Despite not having the same level of organization, experience, and reach as the NRA once did, the NSSF and other state armed groups are intensifying their efforts to influence the political landscape. Parallel to the activities of these arm rights groups, the Trump campaign, along with the Republican National Committee, has initiated Arm Owners for Trump. This coalition includes arms manufacturers and arm rights advocates, such as Alan Gottlieb, founder of the Second Amendment Foundation, and various Women for Arm Rights groups. The coalition aims to mobilize pro-arm voters by emphasizing Trump's unwavering support for arm rights. To galvanize his base, Trump has spoken at NRA events multiple times this year. During the NRA's May meeting, Trump delivered a fiery speech accusing Biden of having a 40-year record of trying to rip arms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Such rhetoric is designed to resonate deeply with pro-arm voters, reinforcing Trump's commitment to protecting Second Amendment rights. The NRA's financial and legal troubles have significantly reduced its capacity to influence the 2024 elections as it did in previous years. However, other arm rights organizations like the NSSF are stepping in to fill the void, launching extensive voter mobilization campaigns to support pro-arm candidates. Meanwhile, Trump continues to court pro-arm voters through direct engagement and coalition building. The outcome of these efforts will play a crucial role in the upcoming election, reflecting the enduring significance of arm rights issues in American politics. Trump's controversial statements. In the lead-up to the 2024 elections, arm control advocates and the Biden campaign are leveraging Donald Trump's pro-arm stance and dismissive comments on armed violence to galvanize their supporters. These efforts are particularly targeted at mobilizing younger voters and women, key demographics that could play a crucial role in the upcoming elections. Arm control advocates have seized on several of Trump's statements to highlight his cavalier attitude toward armed violence. After a school shooting in Iowa in January, Trump's comment that "we have to get over it" was widely criticized and is now being circulated by Democrats and pro-arm control advocates to illustrate his perceived insensitivity. Another clip shows Trump boasting to NRA members in May that he did nothing as president regarding arm regulations. While Trump did sign a bump stock ban following the 2017 Las Vegas shooting, the Supreme Court recently overturned this ban, adding another layer to the ongoing debate. In contrast, President Biden has solidified his stance on arm control through legislative achievements and active advocacy. Following the tragic school massacre in Uvalde, Texas in 2022, Biden pushed for and succeeded in passing a bipartisan arms safety bill, marking the first significant arm control legislation in nearly 30 years. This legislative success is a cornerstone of Biden's arm control platform and a key point in his re-election campaign. Biden continues to champion further arm control measures. During an Everytown training event on June 12, which saw participation from about 1,000 armed safety volunteers, including students, Biden emphasized his administration's accomplishments. These include establishing a White House office dedicated to curbing armed violence and strengthening the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Explosives, and Firearms. He reiterated his calls for an attack arms ban and universal background checks, rallying his supporters to combat the persistent opposition from the armed lobby. Everytown for Armed Safety, a leading arm control advocacy group, is actively planning to support Biden's campaign and armed safety candidates across the country. Nick Suplina, Everytown's Senior Vice President for Law and Policy, mentioned that while detailed plans for targeting states and overall spending for the election cycle are not yet finalized, the organization is committed to supporting 465 volunteers running for office this year, primarily at the state and local levels. Additionally, Everytown aims to back Senate and House candidates who endorse armed safety measures, continuing its significant investment in political advocacy, having spent around $55 million on the 2020 election efforts. Another prominent armed control advocacy group, Giffords, led by former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, also has extensive plans for the election cycle. Executive Director Emma Brown highlighted the group's strategy to engage a diverse coalition of voters, including Democrats, Republicans, young voters, arm owners, and people of color in key battleground states. Giffords aims to support armed safety champions in crucial House and Senate races and to communicate the Biden-Harris administration's historic accomplishments in armed safety across the country. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.